In 2026, the difference between those who win and those who watch from the sidelines will come down to one thing: obsession. Interest is easy. Interest shows up when it's convenient, when the mood is right, when the conditions are perfect. Interest works hard when people are watching and slows down when no one is paying attention. Obsession, on the other hand, doesn't care about applause, comfort, or convenience. Obsession is what keeps you going when you're tired, when you're doubting yourself, and when the results haven't shown up yet. If you truly want to outwork the world in 2026, you must understand that being interested will never be enough. Everyone says they want success. Everyone says they want financial freedom, respect, impact, and a better life. But wanting something and being obsessed with it are two completely different things. When you're interested, you'll work on your goals after everything else is done. When you're obsessed, your goals become the priority, not the afterthought. Obsession means your dream is the first thing you think about when you wake up and the last thing on your mind before you go to sleep. It's not because someone is forcing you, it's because you can't imagine living any other way. In 2026, competition will be louder, faster, and more crowded than ever. Technology, automation, and access to information mean that almost anyone can learn the basics. What most people won't do is apply that knowledge with relentless effort. Obsession separates those who consume information from those who execute it daily. While others are scrolling, comparing, and complaining, the obsessed individual is practicing, studying, building, and improving. They don't wait for motivation because motivation is unreliable. Their obsession drives them even on the days they feel empty. Being obsessed doesn't mean being reckless or unhealthy. It means being intentional and focused. It means you are willing to say no to distractions that don't align with your purpose. It means understanding that every hour you waste is an hour you can never get back. In 2026, time will be the most valuable currency. The obsessed person invests their time like it's priceless because they know it is. They don't waste energy on gossip, negativity, or excuses. Their energy is reserved for growth. Obsession also demands a different level of sacrifice. You will be misunderstood. People will call you extreme, say you're doing too much, or tell you to slow down. But the truth is, the same people will later ask how you did it. Obsession requires you to be comfortable standing alone, grinding in silence, and trusting a vision that only you can see. While others are chasing comfort, the obsessed are chasing mastery, and mastery is built in the dark, not on the highlight reel. When challenges come, and they will, interest disappears. Interest quits when the pressure gets heavy. Obsession adapts. Obsession finds another way. Failure doesn't stop the obsessed. It educates them. Every setback becomes feedback. Every loss becomes a lesson. This mindset is what allows obsessed individuals to keep moving forward when others give up. They don't see obstacles as signs to quit. They see them as proof that they're on the right path. To outwork the world in 2026, you must make a decision right now. Decide that your dream matters more than your comfort. Decide that excuses are no longer acceptable. Decide that average effort will no longer represent you. Once you cross the line from interest to obsession, your work ethic changes, your habits change, and your results eventually change. Obsession is not optional if you want uncommon success. It is the price, and in 2026, only those willing to pay it will rise. In 2026, talent alone will no longer be enough to separate you from the crowd. The world is full of gifted people who never reached their potential because they relied on what they were born with instead of what they were willing to build. Discipline is what turns potential into performance. It is the quiet force that shows up every day whether you feel like it or not. While talent may open a door, discipline is what keeps you in the room and allows you to dominate once you're there. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when motivation is gone. Motivation comes and goes. Some days you wake up excited and energized, and other days you wake up tired, frustrated, and doubtful. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel, it asks what the assignment is. In 2026, those who win will be the ones who stop negotiating with their emotions. They will execute the plan regardless of mood, weather, or circumstances. This ability to stay consistent in inconsistent conditions is what separates leaders from followers. Most people wait to feel ready before they act. Discipline acts first and lets confidence catch up later. When you commit to disciplined habits, waking up early, training daily, studying your craft, sharpening your mind, you begin to build momentum. That momentum compounds over time. Small disciplined actions repeated daily create massive results that look like overnight success to those who weren't paying attention. In reality, nothing about it was sudden. It was earned through repetition and restraint. In 2026, distractions will be everywhere. Notifications, entertainment, opinions, and shortcuts will constantly pull at your attention. Discipline is your defense against distraction. It is the ability to say no to what feels good now so you can say yes to what will feel great later. Discipline means choosing growth over comfort, progress over pleasure, and long-term vision over short-term relief. This is not easy, but easy has never produced excellence. Discipline also builds trust, first with yourself, then with others. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your confidence. Every time you break one, you weaken it. The disciplined individual doesn't rely on hype or external validation. They trust themselves because they've proven through action that they will show up. In a world where many people quit when it gets hard, discipline becomes a powerful reputation. People know they can count on you because you are consistent. There will be moments in 2026 when quitting feels logical, when progress is slow, when results don't match the effort, and when doubt creeps in. Discipline is what keeps you going during those moments. It reminds you that growth is not always visible and that the work is doing something even when you can't see it yet. Discipline understands delayed gratification. It knows that what you do today is building a future you haven't stepped into yet. Discipline is not about perfection, it's about commitment. You will stumble, you will miss days, but discipline means you don't quit because of a bad moment or a bad week. You adjust, refocus, and continue. You refuse to let temporary setbacks become permanent decisions. This resilience is what allows disciplined people to outlast more talented but less committed individuals. In 2026, the playing field will be crowded with people who talk big and start strong. Very few will finish. Discipline is the difference maker. It is the new talent because it is rare, reliable, and unstoppable over time. When you master discipline, you no longer depend on luck, motivation, or perfect conditions. You become consistent, and consistency always wins. In 2026, success will demand a level of sacrifice that most people are unwilling to make. Everyone wants the rewards, freedom, respect, influence, and financial stability, but very few want to pay the price required to earn them. Sacrifice is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It is the conscious decision to give up short-term comfort for long-term fulfillment. Without sacrifice, dreams remain ideas. With sacrifice, they become reality. Sacrifice means understanding that you cannot have everything at the same time. You can have comfort or you can have growth, but rarely both in the same season. In 2026, many will choose convenience because it feels safe and familiar. The few who rise will choose discomfort because they understand what it produces. Early mornings, late nights, missed social events, and lonely stretches are not punishments, they are investments. Every hour you pour into your craft while others are resting is building an advantage that compounds over time. One of the hardest parts of sacrifice is letting go of what looks good right now. Entertainment, instant gratification, and temporary pleasure offer immediate rewards but leave you empty in the long run. Sacrifice requires patience and vision. It asks you to see beyond the moment and commit to a future that hasn't arrived yet. In 2026, the people who win will be those who stop chasing feelings and start chasing purpose. They understand that discipline and sacrifice work together, and that comfort today often leads to regret tomorrow. Sacrifice also tests your identity. When you start doing what others won't, you begin to stand out, and not always in a positive way. People may question your choices, criticize your intensity, or label you as extreme. But sacrifice demands that you stop living for approval. You must be willing to disappoint people who don't understand your vision in order to stay loyal to the life you're trying to build. The pain of sacrifice is temporary, but the pain of regret can last a lifetime. In 2026, many will say they're working hard, but few will truly be sacrificing. Working hard still allows room for excuses and shortcuts. Sacrifice removes those options. It forces you to prioritize. You stop asking, what do I feel like doing? And start asking, what does my future require? That shift changes everything. Your schedule becomes intentional. Your habits become sharper. Your focus becomes clearer. Sacrifice simplifies life by eliminating distractions that don't serve your goals. Another truth about sacrifice is that it is often invisible. No one applauds the nights you stay in to study, train, or plan. No one sees the battles you fight in silence, but those unseen moments are where real progress is made. In 2026, the loudest results will come from the quietest work. The world celebrates the outcome, but ignores the process. Sacrifice means you commit to the process even when there is no recognition. Sacrifice also builds mental toughness. When you consistently choose what is hard over what is easy, you develop resilience. You become comfortable being uncomfortable. This mindset is critical because the path to success is never smooth. Setbacks, delays, and failures are guaranteed. Sacrifice prepares you for those moments. It teaches you that pain is not a signal to quit, but a signal that growth is happening. Ultimately, sacrifice is a decision you make daily. It's not one big dramatic moment. It's a series of small choices that add up over time. In 2026, you will either sacrifice now or regret later. There is no middle ground. If you don't give up comfort for your dream will eventually be given up for comfort. The question is not whether sacrifice will be required. It's whether you are willing to embrace it while it still has the power to change your life. In 2026, results will belong to those who execute relentlessly and refuse to hide behind excuses. Ideas are everywhere. Plans are everywhere. Intentions are everywhere. What is rare is execution, the ability to take action consistently, aggressively, and without needing perfect conditions. Execution is where dreams either live or die. You don't get rewarded for what you meant to do. You get rewarded for what you actually do. Relentless execution begins with personal accountability. In 2026, blaming the system, the economy, your past, or other people will not move you forward. Ownership is power. The moment you accept full responsibility for your outcomes is the moment you regain control over your future. Even when circumstances are unfair, execution asks, what can I do right now with what I have? That mindset turns obstacles into opportunities and victims into leaders. Excuses are often disguised as explanations. They sound reasonable, logical, and even responsible, but they still delay progress. Relentless execution removes that language entirely. There is no "I'll start when things calm down" or "I'll move when I feel more confident." In 2026, the people who win will move while things are chaotic, unclear, and uncomfortable. They understand that waiting for perfect timing is the fastest way to stay stuck. Execution also requires speed and adaptability. The world is changing fast, and slow decision-making is expensive. Relentless executors take action, evaluate the results, adjust, and take action again. They don't need everything to be flawless before they begin. Progress beats perfection every time. In 2026, those who move quickly and learn faster will outperform those who overthink and hesitate. Another key aspect of execution is consistency under pressure. Anyone can take action when things are going well. The real test comes when results are slow, criticism is loud, and fatigue sets in. Relentless execution means you keep going anyway. You train when you're tired. You study when you're bored. You build when no one is watching. This consistency creates a gap between you and the competition that eventually becomes impossible to close. Relentless execution also sharpens focus. You stop chasing everything and start attacking what matters most. In 2026, distractions will multiply and divided attention will weaken performance. Execution demands clarity. You identify your top priorities and commit to them fully. You don't waste energy on arguments, comparisons, or validation. Your work becomes your voice. Results speak louder than explanations ever could. Failure is part of execution, not the opposite of it. Those who execute relentlessly are not afraid of failing because they understand failure is feedback. Every mistake reveals what doesn't work and brings you closer to what does. In 2026, the people who succeed will not be those who avoided failure, but those who recovered from it quickly and kept moving forward. They don't sit in disappointment. They adjust and attack again. Relentless execution builds credibility. Over time, people stop questioning your words and start trusting your actions. You don't need to convince anyone of your potential because your output proves it. This credibility opens doors, creates opportunities, and attracts the right people into your life. Execution turns ambition into authority. Ultimately, in 2026, excuses will not feed your family, build your legacy, or fulfill your purpose. Only execution will. When you commit to relentless execution, you remove the safety net of excuses and force yourself to grow. You become sharper, stronger, and more resilient. And in a world full of talkers, the executor will always stand out.